My name is Jack Squirt, and I lead the seating business at Herman Miller. The sale chair really came about when about 2.5 years ago we sat down with Yves Behar, who we believe is one of the up-and-coming preeminent industrial designers on the planet. He was just coming off of the One Laptop Per Child, which is the $100 laptop program. And basically the question we asked him, a little bit tongue-in-cheek but also very serious, is, Yves, you've just done a $100 laptop, could you do a $399 chair? Actually, the question I asked him a little bit later was, come on, Yves, how hard could this really be? And the answer is a lot harder than you think, especially if you want to do it and maintain all of those things that Herman Miller stands for and that are important to us in terms of ergonomics, design, excellence, and materials, etc. It's not an easy task, but we picked Yves, and he's done a terrific job over the last 2.5 years.
And how do you go about integrating the Herman Miller ethos with the Fuse Project ethos?
Well, you know, Herman Miller has an engineering team. We always work with outside designers, but we have an internal design engineering team that works literally hand in glove with the external design people. And what that enables us to do is, those are folks that have been through chair after chair, frankly. A lot of these are folks who worked on the Aeron chair. Some of the folks are people who worked on the Equa chair almost 30 years ago. So they know seating backwards and forwards, and they also know how to work with designers, and they know what really makes a Herman Miller chair a Herman Miller chair.
You said it was 2.5 years from start to finish. Is that a typical life cycle?
No, actually, 2.5 years from start to finish is really fast for us. Typically, we can spend 2 years just doing research on what we ought to be thinking about. So 2.5 years from start to finish is pretty remarkable for us. And that was also one of the reasons why we talked to Yves. We thought his studio was big enough and he had enough experience at this point in industrial design to work on design for manufacturability as well, so that we can move very quickly through the steps and make the chair and get it out to folks as quickly as we could. When it came to manufacturing challenges, we're really using an entirely new material, one that's never been used this way on a chair before. So there's all kinds of new learning that we had to figure out. This 3D intelligent back accomplishes an enormous amount at a very, very attractive and low price, but it also, again, it required almost invention. We had to start from scratch. Nobody knew how it would behave under heat. No one knew how it would behave under cold. No one knew what would happen if you got it wet. So we had to start from the very beginning, test it all the way through, and manufacturing's turned out to be interesting, not easy, but ultimately worth it.
And is there a name for the particular process?
Well, the process that's in the material, no. I mean, I would call it the Herman Miller secret sauce. But other than that, it's an elastomeric urethane that has, again, specific kind of chemical properties. One of the big deals for us was it had to be recyclable, which means it has to start its life as a fairly common component, but it had to do things that urethane's never done before. So again, there's a fair amount of chemistry involved.
And will we be seeing that material pop up in other Herman Miller products, or will that remain proprietary to the...
I think it will, and I think one of the reasons, it's actually a distant relative to some of the material that's in the Embody chair. And some of the work that we did on the Embody chair around that technology and around that material enabled us to take it to, say, the next level, or to do it, to make alterations and to make it a little different and to use it in the back. It's in the seat of the Embody chair, again, a distant relative of it, and that enabled us to take it and apply it to a whole new set of problems, which is how do you provide the right kind of structure in the back without multiple layers. We have an advanced materials group that works pretty hard on thinking about what's next on this kind of thing. It was Yves who brought the idea of how this should work, and then once he learned about the material, he was very quick in seeing, oh wow, there's a huge application for this in what we're trying to do with the 3D intelligent back.
Who is the sale chair aimed at?
The sale chair really is aimed at, I think, folks who want everything that a Herman Miller chair stands for, but haven't been able to get into it for a price point or whatever reasons before. It's a truly attainable product, and it's designed to be, for many people, the first step into the Herman Miller brand and their first experience with us. A lot of those folks have heard about the Eames or they've heard of the Aeron chair, but for some folks that was out of reach. And this chair was designed to be everything that we care about at Herman Miller: ergonomics, design, intelligence, thoughtful use of materials, sustainability, and to do it at a fundamentally different price point for folks, to give them an opportunity to experience what a great chair could be.
For the next generation of designers that are currently in school, that are aspiring to be Herman Miller designers? What are the skills that they need to have?
Well, I think for us, we look for people who think holistically, who think about the process not just as a beautiful object, and not just as a comfortable sitting machine, but also as something that has to work within the planet, that has to work within the environments, all the multitude of environments this chair may find itself in. It has to work across those applications. And of course, it does have to be beautiful, and it does have to be comfortable, but it's got to do so much more than just those things. So I think the biggest holistic view you can take as a young designer, absolutely that's what we're interested in at Herman Miller.
Part of the project in the beginning was to see if it was even possible to do a lower cost chair, to really explore, to bring these kind of performance elements that we're used to with Herman Miller, you know, ergonomics, design innovation, to a low cost task chair. And what we needed to do is eliminate a lot of stuff, and we eliminated the frame that you typically have around the chair on the edges and the top. We eliminated the multiple materials that are typically used on the back of a chair, and went for an innovation which is about dematerialization, taking stuff away, and just being left with one material for suspension, and then a tower-like support, essentially very much like a bridge construction. Every inch of this chair is fine-tuned to support the back, something you can't really do with textiles, something you can't really do with foam, but something with an injected material where you can basically create different characteristics on different areas of the chair by injecting thicker areas, hinge areas, different levels of tension, where you can really create a pretty amazing ergonomic feedback.
And did you run into any surprises or challenges during the manufacturing process?
About 70 of them. We made 70 different prototypes. Some of them were injected, some of them were hand-built in the office. You know, it's just a constant process of exploration. A chair isn't really done on the computer. It's really done by hand. It's really done by trying, by failing, and by trying again.
For the current generation of designers in school now, what are the skills that you want to see them coming with?
The skills for designers is for me, are mostly centered around design. Schools tend to emphasize all kinds of other skills, and students need to know about business, they need to know about marketing, they need to know about all this other stuff. And while this is true, those are skills that you can acquire, I would say, on the job. But primarily, you should develop your design skills, your ability to communicate, and your ability to come up with some new, cool, interesting stuff.
We're just getting started with this material, and we're frankly just getting started working with Eve on chairs, and I don't think we're done yet. I think there's more to come.